Hey, what's up, all you Instacart shoppers out there? Chad 976 or the Orlando Rideshare guy here on YouTube. Back with another Instacart video. This is more of a vlog or a complaining session. This is not part of my ins and outs of Instacart series, although I guess it should be if you're a new, considering becoming an Instacart driver or you're a rookie Instacart driver. You probably want to watch this because this is something that could happen to you. So, it's just a life lesson for everybody. All right, so what I should have mentioned in the pros and cons of Instacart series. One of the cons of working for Instacart is if you ever have a problem and you have to call our support line or help desk, whatever you want to call it. They're called Shopper Happiness. They should be called Shopper Crappiness. If you have to call them, I find that the reps are either one of three things. Either they're really poorly trained, they don't know what the hell they're doing, or they don't speak English very well, or they do, but they're just really snarky and smartass and they make you jump through a lot of hoops before they actually help you out. Or, so it's just, and I've called a lot of help desks, Uber, Lyft, all those guys, and like they're so much better than Instacarts. So this is a story of them just completely hosing me and getting hosed by the customer too. So, it's a Saturday afternoon. Usually Saturdays are great because it's just one batch right after the other. As soon as you complete a batch, the next one comes in. So it's about 4 o'clock on a Saturday. Drop off a batch, swipe to complete delivery, nothing comes in. And I'm sitting there, I don't know, 5, maybe 10 minutes. And I don't want to just sit there. And I'm looking at the map and there's no hotspots either, which is really weird for a Saturday. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess it's dead. So I turn on Lyft. Sure enough, ride request comes in right around the corner from where I am actually. And I pick the lady up and I start taking her to where she's going. And then, a few minutes later, in fact, actually, I have my dash cam footage here, and thank God it has a clock on the footage, so I got a timeline of everything on here. So right about 4:18, we're sitting at a red light, and I hear that the batch comes in, and I take a look at it, and here's a screenshot right here. So the first thing I see is that big huge $7 and plus no tip. And I just kind of roll my eyes and I'm like, man, haven't had an order in over a half hour and this is the one they give me. And then I take a closer look at it and it's only 3 items. So I'm like, all right, well, that's not okay. That's nice. And then I realize the store they want me to go to, the Publix, is literally right next door to where I'm taking this rider behind me in the back seat. She's going to a hair salon in the same shopping plaza. I'm like, well, I'm going there anyway. And, it's only 3 items, so I'll knock this out real quick. So, normally I would not have taken that, but considering those circumstances, I bet most people would have. So, I dropped the rider off and, again, dash cam footage. So I arrive at the store, or at least I park the car, get out of the car at 4:26, start shopping. She wants a frozen pizza, frozen peas, and string cheese. So the first thing I do is go for the pizza. Sure enough, and this happens to me a lot. Let me know if this happens to you. If somebody only wants like 1, 2, or 3 things, one of those things they won't have the exact size or weight or flavor or whatever that the customer wants. There's always some kind of hang up. So I go to the frozen pizza first because at this Publix, for some reason, the frozen food aisle is down the middle instead of on the end. But anyways, so I go to the pizza first and they don't have the one that she wants. So I substitute. And then I have to walk all the way to the other end of the store to get the string cheese. And then she writes back and says, oh, hey, can you get this one instead of whatever you picked? So I'm like, okay. Like she actually wrote that, not just customer wants, whatever. So I write her back and say, okay, you got it. And so I go back to the pizza place or pizza aisle or whatever, frozen section, and I get the one she wants. Boom, done. Now this is taking a little bit longer than I would have preferred, but I checking the dash cam footage here, so I get back into my car at 4:36. So it was 10 minutes that I was there, a little bit longer than it should have been, and plus the line was a little bit long, but can't really do anything about that. So I started driving, but there's this text message. I keep these notes on my phone. Oh, you're not gonna be able to see this on camera. I'll show you up here. Whenever I leave the store, I always send this to every customer. It just says, hey, I'm on my way to your house. You can follow my location on the app. Please describe what your house looks like. If you're in an apartment complex, let me know how to get to you. If there's a gate, please message me the code. Things like that. And I know that I could tell that she was in an apartment complex, or at least an apartment, from the address. And, it's not a big deal. So I get to her apartment complex at 4:47. It's a gated community. Now, I don't know how it is where you live, but here in Orlando, there's gated communities everywhere. Not just, subdivisions like houses and things like that, but actual apartment complexes. Just to get inside the complex, you have to go through a gate. Now, it's not usually a problem because most of these gates, there's a pin pad or a call box or both where, so you like, and most think, I send that message and most people will write back and say, when you get to the gate, type in pound 1234, or they'll actually even have it in the delivery notes. So you don't even have to, it's already there for you. But this lady did not have that in there. And she didn't write back to my text, which is weird because she had written me back a few times when I was at the store. So I get to the gate at 4:47, and I realize there's no call box. It's just a badge reader, like a badge you would have at your office. Like you would just swipe it. So I've heard of this where, some communities, they don't have a call box or anything. You just swipe a key fob, which I don't get because if you ever lose a key fob, how are you supposed to get into your apartment complex? And something like this happened to me a few months ago. Remember the DoorDash encouraged me to, if you haven't seen that, check that one out. Tailgate people in, because if you saw my DoorDash video, I explain why in that. It's the principle of the thing. I shouldn't have to, I'm not going to tailgate somebody and risk damaging my car, risk, possibly getting a ticket or whatever. Just, open, I'm sitting there. The customer knows they live in a gated community with no way for visitors to get in. If there's a visitor's entrance, I have no idea. I'm just following where the GPS is telling me to go. So I'm sitting in the Walgreens or CVS Park, whatever it was. And I'm just, at this point, I'm getting really steamed. I'm just, sitting there just looking at my phone, waiting for that countdown timer to reach 0. And sure enough, it does. And like about, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds before it hits 0, she writes back and says, "Oh, hey, I'm outside. Sorry, I missed the phone," or something like that. And I just kind of ignore it. And then, I call Shopper Happiness. And as I'm calling them, I start to leave the parking lot. And I'm going to go back to the store and return the items. Because if you return, like if somebody is a no-show and you return the items to the store, they give you a $10 bump. I mentioned this in the pros and cons video. And I've never actually done that before. Usually I sit and wait. But this, $7 plus no tip. And at this point, it's, over 15 minutes later, getting close to 20 minutes later. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to make a lot more money returning this stuff to the store. If she had said, "Oh, hey, I'll tip you if you come back," or something like that. But she just wrote back and said, "Oh, hey, I'm outside. I can see on the GPS you're still close." But I had, so I'm like a block away at this point, and I'm sitting at a red light, and I'm on hold with Shopper Happiness. And it's just a perfect storm of everything. And I write back and I say, and this is where I screwed up. So this is a lesson. Don't do this if this happens to you. I write back and say, "Oh, sorry, I'm on my way back to the store." And sure enough, like 2 seconds later, then the rep picks up, and then we go through the whole spiel. And I just say, "Hey, I got a no-show. Can't get into our apartment complex." And then he, like, Shopper Happiness, they can read anything that you text to the customer through the app. They can read that. And he says, "Well, I see that you're still there." He's like, "I can't cancel this order because you wrote her back after you depart." He's like, "You need to go finish that delivery." And at this point, I lose my shit. Like, I just start cursing this guy out. I'm like, "I did everything. I let the timer hit 0. I called her. I texted her. I'm already on my way back to the store. Why can't you help me out?" And he's like, "Because you already told her, that does makes no sense. What if I was, what if I was already back at the store, So I am just livid. I hang up on the guy. I curse him out. I turn, like I said, I'm only a block away from her apartment, so I just make a U-turn and go back. Sure enough, she's still standing out there. Now, normally I would never do this, but I really had nothing to lose at this point because she tipped me $0. And so I see her standing there. I get out. I go to hand her the food, and I say, I was about to take this back to the store because Instacart would have paid me $10 to return this, and you didn't tip me, so I really didn't have any incentive to bring this back to you. And she doesn't really say anything. She's a young woman, probably in her early 20s or something, and she's kind of like, she doesn't say anything. She just takes the food and walks away. And like, I just had to say that. It was just like, I have absolutely no incentive to complete this delivery because I'm going to make way more money if I return this to the store. At this point, it's 5:05. So I got there at 4:47. So this is literally, 17 minutes later, maybe 18 and change with, everything. And so it's like this lady had just wasted my time sitting around for 20 minutes. I don't know what happened. If maybe she's narcoleptic and she fell asleep or something. I don't know. Of course, she one-starred me. It wasn't, can't say I'm surprised, but again, I really didn't have anything to lose. And And it's surprisingly enough, Shopper Happiness, whenever you call Shopper Happiness, they always email you and say, how did was your support good or bad? And I still have not gotten an email. I checked my spam folder. It is not in there. Can't understand why. So yeah, that's the lesson from this story is if you ever get a no-show and they show up right as you're leaving, do not acknowledge them in any way. Just start driving back to the store. So yeah, getting hosed by Instacart is the worst. So yeah, something similar like this happened with DoorDash, so check that video out and check out some of my other Instacart videos. Sorry this is so long, but I wanted to be really thorough, as I always am. So thanks for watching. Let me, if you're an Instacart shopper, I assume you are if you're watching this, let me know what you would have done in that situation. You know, if you agree or disagree with Instacart's decision. If you were the customer, what would you have done? Yeah, so let me know. I will see you guys in the next video.